My name is Tim Coco. I'm a candidate for State Senate in the 1st Essex District. I bring a unique perspective to this race. I'm married, and my spouse and I were separated for 3 years because of inequality. The Defense of Marriage Act did not recognize our marriage. He is a Brazilian national, and all of the rights that most heterosexuals take for granted were not available to us. And we obeyed all the rules, and yet we were separated for 3 years while we fought a very lengthy and an emotional and costly battle to be reunited. I think that gives me a certain perspective to ensure that no one else ever goes through these kinds of issues again. And civil rights are not often permanent. There are always threats to the civil rights of our residents, and I will always keep that foremost in mind. Mass Equality has fought the good fight successfully with energy and competence that I really would like on my side. I think Mass Equality has done the most work for the longest amount of time and has the sincere interests of residents and their equality interests in mind. There are a number of threats to civil rights at all times. This district tends to be a little more conservative, and we have to ensure that while voters may trend conservative in some cases, that we educate them and make sure they understand that these are family values. We're protecting our loved ones, and we simply wish to live equal lives. Obviously, I grew up gay, and I was a little bit different than some of my peers in school. So I understand what it takes to overcome these adversities and to move forward. And I was very lucky that I was able to continue, and it really did get better, and I want to spread that message. In fact, there's a story, I get into stories once in a while. I spoke at a recent Democratic committee luncheon, and this woman in the audience was peppering me with different questions about issues in the district, clearly trying to make sure I had an advantage on the stage. And I was curious. I had never met this woman. So after the presentations, I talked to her briefly aside, and she said her son has just come out of the closet, and she wants to make sure that he has good role models. And that was really one of the finest compliments I've ever received. And so I think simply by serving in the Senate, serving the people of the Commonwealth, I do set an example and can set an example. But also uniquely, having borne the brunt of discrimination in my own marriage from a government that is supposedly dedicated to the civil rights of all people, I think I can bring the spirit and the enthusiasm we need to make sure that all citizens of the Commonwealth feel they are welcome and they are valued. And I will certainly record a Gets Better video to make sure they hear that. I'd like to reiterate that I'm not a politician. What I am is a business owner and someone who's deeply committed to the community. What I bring to this race is a fresh perspective and an independent voice, something we desperately need at the State House. I will work to protect equality. I'll make sure the clock is never turned back on our rights, and instead move forward so that we can all live happy, enjoyable, and productive lives.